what a stunning looking bike. Something that's truly unique in the e-bike.
Yeah.
So Spear, GasGas obviously really deep roots in Moto. Well, the leaders, one of the leaders of Moto. They started developing this bike over a number of years. Obviously, they haven't just gone and slapped a little sticker on some, you know, factory outlet e-bike. This thing is literally designed from the ground up, and it's got some really unique design features, which we'll touch on soon. Obviously, these fairings and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Really, really cool. But perhaps the thing I'm most excited about this bike, SRAM have finally entered the e-bike sphere, full blown with that powertrain e-bike system. Obviously the GasGas has got it right here. The whole bike's been centered around that thing. So yeah, really excited to get our hands on that and finally get to sort of see what SRAM have been able to come up with in their first motor, and obviously fuses beautifully with all the access range throughout SRAM from front to rear of the bike. So we'll touch on that a little bit more soon. But mate, you've been riding this bike now for a couple of weeks. You've had a few rides on it. Tell us a bit about the main sort of numbers and bits and pieces this thing comes swinging.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, JT, I followed this project from well before we even knew we were going to get one. Like I followed it before they sort of got to the World Cups and all that sort of thing through their SRAM GasGas development team. It was something that really excited me. Like I said, JT, like GasGas they've gone all in. They've built this thing from the ground up around a race team, around riders that are very, very experienced. And they've done an absolutely amazing job. So the ECC5 is what we have in front of us here, working with 170mm fork, 160mm of rear travel. On this particular model, we've got the DBO powered by WP, so WP motorbike suspension. They've been in the game for years and years.
Some really unique valve they do, right?
Yeah, so they've got their cone valve suspension, which is basically top tier in the moto world. So they've worked in with DBO to fit it into existing DBO like chassis, if you will.
Sweet to see something fresh coming to mountain bike to e-bike.
And so yeah, as you mentioned, the equally as exciting part of this bike is the SRAM Cross Bros powertrain system, they're calling it. So this incorporates SRAM transmission out the rear, along with a Bros manufactured motor, all to SRAM specs.
Yeah. Let's talk about how it rides though. Like, is it as smooth as the Levo?
Yeah, so like it's no secret. Like I used to be a huge fan of Bros motors when they were manufacturing all the specialized motors. In recent years, they've separated, which sort of makes sense now. Like we had a few inklings and a few sort of secret squirrel conversation with SRAM that they were going to be entering at one point, but it sort of made sense that Specialized and Bros split ways because obviously Bros have now exclusively paired up with SRAM.
That's right.
And it's not just the motor, so it's a full powertrain. So it's, you know, talking to a motherboard, I guess you could say, and you can actually use a auto shift function, which, you know, I kind of talk about it with a lot of people, and they're like, oh, you know, you'd never use it, like it's overkill. But my first entire ride, I just rode it, turned off, got to know the system, got to know the bike a little bit. Second ride, came out swinging with auto shift on, and man, this thing is absolutely crazy technology.
So is it the difference between like going from a manual in your car to putting it into auto, and just the car just decides how much power it needs depending on what you're driving?
Exactly that.
What are you putting on?
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's literally an automatic transmission for your mountain bike, or for your e-bike. And it's obviously completely tunable to whatever your preferences are. It's not just one and done, like you don't have any options. You can choose whether or not you like a bit of a higher cadence, bit of a lower cadence, you know, if you like to push a heavier or a lower gear, all that sort of stuff. I've been playing around with it to no end so far. And yeah, it takes a lot of the, you know, second guessing and, you know, misshifting out of it. Like obviously transmission, you can shift whenever you want under full load, which is exactly that. The bike is telling you when you need to shift, given whatever, you know, input you're giving it.
One of the things we love most about the SRAM Axis stuff is you can fine tune the setup of everything via the SRAM app. For instance, the pods here, you can adjust it to, so, you know, if you've got the Axis seat post, you can get it locked there, the up down switch, you can literally adjust and customize these to suit your exact preference and style, which is really, really smart. Mate, wanted to talk to you a bit about the fairings on this bike, right?
Yeah.
So the GasGas is the only brand we know that has these sort of style fairings. Like we have some brands that have frame protection, like those stickers, which work, but this just takes it a whole lot further. Like thick, what are we talking? Thick plastic there, modular too, so you can put them on, take them off, crash replacement, down tube. This is essentially 3 pieces. Mate, super cool. What do you think of that?
Yeah, like it's very striking. You know, it's sort of, they've gone for the, you know, they've made it look a little bit moto, you know, like pulling air into your radiators there, so to speak, kind of thing. But I'm really, really digging it. Like, it's maybe not everybody's cup of tea, in which case you just pop them off. Like, you don't have to run them.
Why would you though? I mean, it looks like...
They look wicked.
Personally, it's like a little piece like that is enough for me to want to buy a bike.
Exactly, yeah.
Interestingly, there isn't actually any holes in the frame up here. It doesn't actually suck air in. It just is an aesthetics thing.
Yeah.
And also it makes a little bit of space, so the cable management and whatnot is taken care of in there as well. You can obviously ride this bike without the fairings. You don't have to have them on. But yeah, I think if you could, mate, you'd be crazy not to. It looks mint. Let's talk about how it rides. So a few rides in. One of the things people often comment about is your height and the size of this bike. So this is a size medium, is that right?
Just stock medium, yeah. So out of the box. So I haven't changed anything on this bike other than the grips. Bit of a personal preference one there.
You always slap your own grips and pedals on a bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So out of the box, we've got the 29er. So 29er front and rear. Set and forget basically as far as geometry goes. We don't have any adjustment, which is cool. Like GasGas have done a really good job of, you know, it's a long travel bike, but it's not, you know, it's not just, you know, perfect for the downhills. You know, you're not struggling to get up the hill, that kind of thing. Pretty neutral in the geometry as far as the reach goes and the angles. Like, we're not super stretched out, pure race bike only. It's yeah, it's been getting around all sorts of travels absolutely beautifully. Yeah, like, it's just, what do you want to say? Like, it's a Ferrari of mountain bikes at the moment.
Mate, you know, we're talking about pushing you up the trail there. The power output that the powertrain has is 90 newton meters of torque, is that right?
Coming out swinging, 90 newton.
Turbocharged, right? Plenty of juice. Now, what size battery we got in this thing?
So GasGas have opted for a 630 watt hour battery.
SRAM do have a few options for the OEs, right? Because powertrain's coming on a few different manufacturers, GasGas being one of the leads. So they've opted for the 630. So plenty of juice.
Plenty of juice. You know, like a lot of people that will be, you know, interested in one of these bikes, your battery's going to run out before you run out of 630 watt hour, especially if you're hitting up some of the steeper, gnarlier trails. So I find that sort of, you know, 630 to 650, that's a really round number. Very, very versatile. You can get in there, stay in a lower power output mode, get 50 Ks out of it, or if you're banging straight up some real steep climbs for the downhill runs, you're getting a lot of runs in.
You don't have the weight disadvantage if you go 750 up to those 900s. Like, all of a sudden you're adding a couple of kilos to your bike. So best of both worlds in that. I think, again, GasGas playing it pretty smart, especially for the first entry. Now let's talk about the personality bike without going too far down the rabbit hole. Obviously, still kind of testing the bike out. You know, we got out here today, it's beautiful and misty, wet trails. But yeah, how's it kind of nimble and active, or is it kind of sluggish? Where are we talking?
So we're talking full battery size, full motor. So, you know, it's not the lightest of e-bikes. Obviously, you know, we're starting to bridge the gap between SL, you know, we're riding a lot of SLs. So out on the trails, like, it is an absolute beast. It does like to descend more than it likes to climb, but that's not to say that, you know, obviously 90 newton meters of power.
Like, push up,
you're getting up the climbs pretty easy.
But it kind of favours itself a bit more of a party.
Mate, it loves to party.
Which you'd expect from a motocross brand or a motorbike brand. You'd think it's going to be something that's made for really kind of like excel in those sort of gravity sides without being a triple clamp downhill bike.
No,
so it's
not
pretty
at all.
cool how they haven't gone down that path. Mate, so you're going to be spending a bunch more time on the GasGas ECC5. Middle, as we said, GasGas offer this in 3 different specs here in Australia, the 4, the 5 and the 6. This is the middle. Mate, keep an eye on our channel because Blake's going to be spending a bunch of time on this bike as we head into spring, right in the middle of winter now. As the trail conditions start to change, we've got a few road trips planned to take this thing on as well. So it'd be interesting to see how it fares over the next little while. Pretty freaking exciting straight out of the box right there. Obviously, it's kind of spoiled with the powertrain. It's awesome to get our hands on that thing. But then again, GasGas has got a lot going on in its own right, even when you don't take into account the motor. So definitely one of the most exciting bikes we've probably ever had here at the mag. You could easily say one of the most striking looking bikes we've ever had at the mag. So
definitely.
It's a bike that gets a lot of attention, and it's a bike we're very excited about. Keep your eyes on our channel for plenty more.